WWE games are garbage. Welcome to The Minority, a peoples-based discussion channel. And in this episode, we're going to talk about what happened to WWE games and how 2K can fix them. In this episode, I'm going to be breaking this up into numerous categories. And the first of which of those categories is going to be the lack of modes. Sure, WWE 2K'19 has more modes than a lot of other past iteration games, but I'm just going to pick a random game, for example, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, which had around 46 modes, give or take, and that includes variations, so 40 plus modes, while WWE 2K'19 has 77 modes, give or take, including variations. But here's the problem with that. It's the quantity versus the quality of these game modes. Think about it. WWE 2K'19 just has a spin on all these classic game modes like Hell in a Cell and the classic ladder match, where they just add more characters into the match than was previously available. But can you really say that a Fatal 4-Way Falls Count Anywhere match quantifies as a new game mode, while SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 had original modes like Fulfill Your Fantasy and the Buried Alive match? Now sure, Fulfill Your Fantasy wouldn't really make it into today's WWE climate, but I'm sure that a special referee match really would. And that's the first of many problems with WWE 2K'19. The matches aren't just not compelling, the problem. Which brings me into my next category, the lack of variety in these games. The lack of variety in 2K games is something that Take-Two should really be ashamed of. We've already covered the lack of matches, but we haven't even covered the lack of a GM mode and compelling career mode. And although I don't have time to get too deep into this, I do want to cover the base surface. 2K, and although the 2K games don't feel nearly as tacked on as they did in years past, it still is a shell of the former self. Long gone are the days of taking your creative superstar on a 2-year power trip, with new things happening each and every week to keep you engaged. But besides that, I want to look into something more specific match types. Not many, but I just want to take a look at the ladder match. Nowadays in 2K'19, when you play a ladder match, you can only place your ladder at fixed positions. You can't do as much. It's not as extreme as it once were. Yet with games in the past, I remember I could place a ladder anywhere in the ring I wanted at any time I wanted. It made it so much easier to create amazing moments, like doing an RKO from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring through 2 tables that didn't disappear as soon as you hit them. It was absolutely amazing. And then we have games like the hardcore match, where you could take Sandman and take his stick and beat your head in with it until he was bleeding into a bloody pulp. It was something that was really gamey, and it was fun. Sure, you saw some of that stuff in WWE, but you didn't see it often. And with those games, you could make it happen whenever you want. You could climb the tables, the announcers' tables, at any point in time without having to do a stupid OMG moment. You could take signs from the fans and rip them up. You could take weapons from the fans and hit your opponent over the face with them. There was so much more. Matches like the Backstage Brawl had so many more content there. You could get hit by a car. You could jump off a 50-foot building. You could do whatever you would like. And that's the essence of what a video game is, doing what you want and having fun with it. But that brings me into my next category, and that's gone with the arcade. 2K games are not arcadey. That goes without saying. They are simulation based, and that may play into into wrestling games' detriment. Wrestling gaming fans love wrestling arcade games. No one watches wrestling on TV for strict realism. If they did, they'd be watching UFC. They look for crazy over-the-top moments and amazing stories. Since some things are too dangerous to perform on TV, we have video games. Slow motion finishers were a good thing. Vehicles that exploded when you Irish whipped your opponent into them were great. All of this combines to one simple fact. The game should be as fun to watch as it is to play. It should be fun to watch skilled players play in a hardcore match and have the entire arena and outside the arena at their helm and do anything and everything over the top. These games should be more fun to watch than actual television. But anyways, that's my theory. Simulation is killing wrestling games. But I'd like to hear yours. After all, this is a discussion channel. The minority.